For 20,000 years, the stars around human space had been silent. In the center of the galaxy, thousands of civilizations lived, traded, and fought small wars. Empires rose. Empires fell. New species reached the stars every century. But one region of space remained quiet. The old star map still marked it with the same name. Human territory. But most people in the galaxy called it something else now. The quiet zone. No signals came from it. No ships traveled through it. Even long-range scanners could barely read anything from that region of space. Long ago, humanity had spread quickly among the stars. They built colonies on distant planets and sent powerful exploration ships into deep space. Their technology grew fast, and many alien civilizations began to watch them carefully. Then, suddenly, humanity disappeared. Their colonies went dark. Their trade ships stopped arriving. Their communication networks fell silent. One by one, human worlds vanished from galactic records. At first, many believed humanity had destroyed itself in some terrible war. Others believed a disaster had wiped them out. A few ancient historians believed something even stranger. They believed humanity had chosen to disappear. But after 20,000 years, the truth was lost. Human space became a place of mystery. Ships avoided it. Even pirates refused to travel near its borders. Because sometimes, strange things happened there. Unexplained signals. Ships that vanished without a trace. Lights in deep space where no stars existed. Most civilizations simply agreed on one rule. Stay away from the quiet zone. On the outer edge of that forbidden region, a small alien patrol ship drifted through space. The ship belonged to the Velran Union, a peaceful civilization that guarded nearby trade routes. Their patrol missions were usually boring. Most days they simply watched empty space and scanned for smugglers. Commander Lethra sat in the control chair, quietly studying the star charts in front of her. "Anything unusual today?" she asked. A young sensor officer shook his head. "Nothing, Commander. Just the same old silence." Lethra nodded. That was normal. The quiet zone had been silent longer than most civilizations had existed. Then suddenly, a soft alarm beeped. The sensor officer frowned and leaned closer to his screen. "Commander. I'm detecting something strange." Lethra turned toward him. "What kind of signal?" The officer hesitated. I think it's a transmission." The room became quiet. "A transmission?" Lethra repeated slowly. "Yes." "From where?" The officer pointed at the star map. The signal came from deep inside the quiet zone. For a moment nobody spoke. "That's impossible," another officer whispered. Nothing had transmitted from human space in 20,000 years. "Play it," Lethra ordered. The officer activated the signal. At first the speakers only produced static. Then a faint pattern appeared inside the noise. A repeating code. The ship's computer analyzed it for several seconds. Then the translation appeared on the main screen. "Human exploration vessel, automated signal active." The bridge fell silent. One of the crew members laughed nervously. "That must be an ancient signal," he said. "Maybe an old beacon still running." But the sensor officer shook his head. "No, the signal isn't old." He looked up slowly. "It's live." Lethra felt a cold chill run through her body. "Locate the source." The ship's scanners focused deeper into the dark region of space. At first they detected nothing. Then slowly, something appeared on the sensors. A massive object. Moving. The bridge lights dimmed slightly as the sensors pushed their range further. A shape formed on the main screen. A long, metallic structure drifting through space. A ship. But not just any ship. Its design matched the ancient images found in galactic history archives. Angular hull. Heavy armor plates. Old human markings across the surface. The vessel looked thousands of years old. But its engines were glowing with bright blue light. Energy readings began to rise rapidly. The ship was moving toward the edge of human space. Toward the galaxy. The sensor officer spoke again, his voice shaking. "Commander. I'm reading power levels higher than anything we've ever recorded." Another officer whispered. "That ship should not even be working anymore." Lethra stared at the screen as the giant vessel slowly grew larger. For 20,000 years, humanity had been silent. Now a human ship had returned. And it was sending a message across the stars. A simple message. One that began repeating across every communication channel in the sector. Human vessel returning to galactic space. The quiet zone was no longer silent. And the galaxy was about to remember humanity. The signal spread across nearby star systems faster than anyone expected. Within hours, every station, trade hub, and military outpost near the quiet zone had received the same message. Human vessel returning to galactic space. For most civilizations, the word human had become little more than history. Humans were a story from ancient records, a forgotten species that had vanished long before many modern empires even existed. But now something impossible had appeared. A real human ship. And it was moving toward the galaxy. On the Velran patrol ship, Commander Lethra watched the massive vessel on the main screen. The ship was enormous. Even from a distance it looked larger than most military cruisers. Its surface was covered in thick armor plates, many of them scarred and damaged by time. Some parts of the hull looked ancient and worn. But the energy readings were completely wrong. "Report," Lethra said quietly. The sensor officer swallowed before answering. "Commander, the power output of that vessel is increasing." "How is that possible?" another officer asked. "That ship is at least 20,000 years old." "No civilization can keep a ship running that long," someone else added. But the scanners showed something even stranger. The ship was repairing itself. Small mechanical drones moved across the hull like tiny sparks of light. They repaired damaged plates, sealed cracks, and restored systems that had been silent for thousands of years. The vessel was waking up. News of the mysterious ship quickly reached nearby governments. Within a few hours, ships from several civilizations began moving toward the quiet zone border. Some came out of curiosity. Others came out of fear. And a few came because they wanted to claim the ancient vessel for themselves. After all, if a 20,000-year-old ship still worked, its technology could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Soon, dozens of warships gathered near the border of human space. They kept a safe distance while their scanners studied the approaching vessel. The human ship continued moving slowly. It did not change direction. It did not react to the fleets waiting for it. It simply drifted forward like a ghost from another age. Inside the ancient vessel, deep within its armored core, a system that had slept for thousands of years finally activated. Lights flickered on across a massive control chamber. Dust floated through the cold air. Then a calm mechanical voice echoed through the empty ship. Primary systems reactivated. Mission timer, 20,311 years. A central computer awakened. It began scanning the surrounding space. The results surprised even the ancient machine. Hundreds of ships were waiting nearby. Alien ships. Civilizations that did not exist when the vessel began its mission. The computer paused for a moment. Then it followed its original instructions. Begin communication. Across space, every ship suddenly received a new transmission. The voice was calm and clear. Human. This is Human Exploration Vessel Atlas. Automated return protocol active. Shock spread through the gathered fleets. The ship was speaking. On Commander Lethra's bridge, the crew listened in silence. Atlas, one officer whispered. That name appears in ancient human archives, another said. It was one of their deep space exploration ships. Lethera stared at the screen. But why would it return after 20,000 years? No one had an answer. The signal continued. Warning to all galactic civilizations. The message repeated several times. Ships across the region recorded every word. Then suddenly the power readings of the human vessel spiked again. Energy levels climbed higher and higher. The nearby fleets grew nervous. Several warships moved into attack positions. One captain transmitted a warning. Unknown human vessel. Shut down your systems and prepare to be boarded. For a moment, the ancient ship did not respond. Then the human AI finally answered. Its voice remained calm. Request denied. The attacking fleet powered its weapons. Missile launchers opened. Energy cannons charged. The alien ships believed they had the advantage. There were hundreds of them surrounding a single vessel. But before they could fire, a wave of light spread from the human ship. It was silent. No explosion. No weapon fire. Just a ripple of pale blue energy moving across space. The wave touched the first warship. Instantly its engines shut down. Its weapons powered off. Its control systems froze. Then the wave reached the rest of the fleet. Ship after ship went dark. Hundreds of vessels suddenly drifted helplessly through space. No damage. No destruction. Just complete shutdown. Commander Lethera stared in shock. One ship did that? The human vessel continued moving forward. Untouched. Unstoppable. And once again, the message repeated across every channel. Warning to all galactic civilizations. But this time, the galaxy was finally listening. Across the nearby sectors, panic began to spread. Hundreds of alien ships floated helplessly in space, their systems completely shut down by the strange blue wave from the human vessel. Engineers tried everything to restart their engines and weapons, but nothing responded. It was as if the ships had simply decided to stop working. And at the center of the silent battlefield, the ancient human vessel Atlas continued moving forward without slowing down. Commander Lethera's patrol ship was one of the few vessels still active. They had stayed just outside the range of the energy wave. Everyone on the bridge watched the giant human ship with growing fear. How can one ship disable entire fleets? The sensor officer whispered. Lethera did not answer. Her eyes remained fixed on the screen. Open a communication channel, she ordered. Moments later, a signal was sent toward the human vessel. This is Commander Lethera of the Velran Union. Human vessel Atlas, we request communication. For several seconds there was only silence. Then the speakers on the bridge came alive. The same calm human voice returned. Communication accepted. The crew froze. They were speaking with a human machine that had traveled through space for 20,000 years. Lethera took a slow breath. Human vessel Atlas, the galaxy believed humanity disappeared long ago. Why have you returned? There was a short pause, as if the ancient computer was considering the question. Then the answer came. Humanity did not disappear. The bridge fell silent. The voice continued. Humanity withdrew from the galaxy. Across dozens of nearby star systems, millions of listeners were now connected to the transmission. Governments, scientists, military leaders, everyone was listening to the words of a machine built by a civilization that vanished 20,000 years ago. Lethera spoke again. Why would humanity leave the galaxy? For a moment, the signal remained quiet. Then Atlas answered. Because humanity discovered something. The human ship began sending large amounts of data across the communication network. Star charts appeared on thousands of screens across the galaxy. The charts showed distant galaxies. Many of them were marked as destroyed. Not by war. Not by natural disasters. But by something far worse. Entire star systems erased. Civilizations gone without a trace. Gas clouds where planets once existed. Lethra stared at the data in disbelief. "What, did this?" she whispered. The AI responded. "An ancient threat." The transmission showed new images. Strange energy patterns. Massive shadow-like objects moving between stars. Creatures. Machines. Something that had existed long before most civilizations in the galaxy were born. And wherever it appeared, life disappeared. The human voice continued its explanation. 20,000 years ago, humanity detected the first signs of this threat moving toward our galaxy. The images showed human fleets from the past studying the strange signals. Human leaders determined that no civilization in the galaxy was prepared to survive this enemy. Across the bridge of the Velran ship, the crew listened in stunned silence. "So humanity ran away?" one officer asked quietly. But the AI answered before Lethra could respond. "Negative." The voice remained calm, but its next words carried a weight that every listener could feel. Humanity did not run. Humanity prepared. New star maps appeared. But these maps were different. They showed regions of space far beyond the quiet zone. Hidden systems. Secret shipyards. Massive industrial worlds. For 20,000 years, humanity had been building something. Something enormous. Humanity withdrew from the galaxy to build defenses, Atlas explained. Weapons capable of stopping the ancient threat. Lethra slowly realized what this meant. For 20,000 years, while the galaxy believed humans were extinct, humanity had been preparing for war. A war against something powerful enough to destroy entire galaxies. She looked back at the ancient ship drifting before them. "If that is true, then why send this ship back now?" she asked. The AI answered immediately. "Because the enemy has entered this galaxy." The word spread across the communication network like a shockwave. Entire governments fell silent. Military leaders stared at their screens. Scientists rechecked the data again and again. The threat was real. And it was already here. Commander Lethra felt the cold weight of fear settle in her chest. If that enemy is real, then one ship cannot stop it. Atlas responded with the same calm tone. "Correct." For a moment there was silence. Then the ancient human vessel sent one final message. "This ship is not a weapon." The crew on Lethra's bridge looked at each other in confusion. "If this isn't a weapon," Lethra asked, "then what is it?" The answer came slowly. "This vessel is a messenger." Then the stars in front of the human ship suddenly bent and twisted. Space itself began to open. A massive circular gateway formed in the darkness. A jump gate. But far larger than anything the galaxy had ever built. Lethra stared at the growing portal. "What is coming through that gate?" The human AI gave its final answer. "Humanity." And on the other side of the gateway, thousands of enormous ships were waiting. The giant gateway continued to expand in the darkness of space. At first, the alien fleets believed it was some kind of energy weapon. Many ships tried desperately to restart their engines, but their systems were still frozen by the strange human energy wave. Commander Lethra watched the portal grow wider on her screen. The stars behind it were no longer visible. Instead, the gateway showed a different sky. A sky full of ships. Thousands of them. The first vessel slowly moved forward through the gateway. It was enormous, far larger than the ancient ship Atlas. Its armor was smooth and dark, and glowing blue lines ran across its surface like rivers of energy. Then another ship followed. And another. Within minutes, an entire fleet began to appear. Some ships were shaped like long spears. Others looked like massive floating fortresses. Several were so large they blocked the light of nearby stars. Every vessel carried the same symbol on its hull. The old symbol of humanity. Across the nearby sectors, alien governments watched the scene through long-range sensors. No one spoke. No one moved. After 20,000 years, humanity had returned. Inside the Velran patrol ship, the crew stood in stunned silence. "Commander," the sensor officer said slowly, "I am counting more than 3,000 ships." The number kept rising. Each new vessel that crossed the gateway showed power readings stronger than entire alien fleets. And yet, the human ships did not activate their weapons. They simply formed an organized formation around the ancient vessel Atlas, as if protecting it. Lethera spoke quietly. "They built all of this, in secret." No one answered. Suddenly, a new signal spread across every communication channel. This time the voice was not from the old AI. It was human. Real. Calm and confident. "This is Admiral Elias Ward of the Human Defense Fleet." The voice echoed through thousands of ships across the region. For 20,000 years, humanity remained silent. More human vessels continued to emerge from the portal behind the fleet. "We left the galaxy because we discovered a threat that would destroy every civilization here." Several alien commanders exchanged nervous looks. One of them sent a message back. "If that is true, why return now?" Admiral Ward answered without hesitation. "Because the enemy is close." The human fleet shifted formation slightly, their sensors scanning deep space. "We sent the vessel Atlas ahead to warn the galaxy." Commander Lethera finally understood. The ancient ship had never been meant to fight. It had been meant to announce humanity's return. Not every civilization believed the warning. Among the gathered fleets was the powerful Carthan Dominion, an empire known for its massive military strength. Their flagship slowly powered up its weapons. A harsh voice cut through the communication channel. "Human fleet, you have entered controlled territory of the Dominion." The alien commander continued. "Surrender your technology immediately or be destroyed." Several alien observers watched nervously. Even with thousands of ships, challenging the Dominion was dangerous. For a moment, the human fleet did not respond. Then Admiral Ward spoke again. His voice remained calm. "Your weapons will not function." The Dominion commander laughed. "We will see about that." The alien fleet fired. Bright beams of energy shot across space toward the human ships. But before the weapons could reach their targets, the same blue wave from Atlas expanded outward again. The wave passed through the Dominion fleet. Instantly their weapons died. Engines shut down. Shields collapsed. Hundreds of warships became silent drifting metal in space. The human fleet had not fired a single shot. Commander Lethera stared at the screen in disbelief. "One wave," she whispered. "And they stopped an entire empire." Admiral Ward spoke one final time. Humanity did not return to rule the galaxy. Behind the fleet, the massive gateway slowly began to close. "We returned because the war has finally reached your stars." The human ships turned toward the dark edge of the galaxy. Their sensors were focused on something far away. Something approaching. And for the first time in 20,000 years, human warships prepared for battle. Silence filled the nearby star systems after the Dominion fleet went dark. Hundreds of warships drifted helplessly in space, their weapons and engines completely disabled. No one tried to attack again. Now the galaxy understood something important. The human fleet was not bluffing. Commander Lethera stood on the bridge of her patrol ship, watching the enormous formation of human vessels slowly move away from the gateway. Thousands of ships moved together with perfect coordination. Their engines glowed softly, leaving long blue trails in the darkness. They were not forming an attack line. They were forming a defense line. "Commander," the sensor officer said nervously, "Human ships are scanning the outer edge of the galaxy." "Scanning for what?" another crew member asked. Before anyone could answer, a new signal appeared on the main screen. It came from the human flagship. Admiral Elias Ward's calm voice filled every communication channel again. "Attention to all galactic civilizations." His tone was serious now. "Our sensors confirm that the ancient threat has entered your galaxy." Across thousands of stations and command centers, alien leaders listened carefully. Many had not believed the warning earlier. Now they did. Lethra leaned forward slightly. "Show us," she whispered. The human fleet transmitted a large set of sensor data. Star maps appeared across hundreds of screens. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then the image zoomed toward the outer edge of the galaxy. And everyone saw it. A region of space where the stars were gone. Entire star systems had disappeared. Not exploded. Not destroyed by supernovas. Simply erased. Gas clouds drifted where planets once existed. Commander Lethra felt a chill run down her spine. That's impossible. But the human data continued. Long-range sensors finally revealed something moving inside the dark region. Something enormous. Dozens of massive shapes moved slowly between the empty star systems. Their forms were difficult to see clearly, like shadows moving through deep space. But their size was undeniable. Each one was larger than a small moon. The human admiral spoke again. "They are here." Across the galaxy, panic began to spread. Some governments ordered their fleets to prepare for war. Others demanded more information from the human fleet. One alien commander finally asked the question everyone was thinking. "If these things are so powerful, how can anyone stop them?" For a moment, the human admiral remained silent. Then he answered. "Because humanity has been preparing for 20,000 years." The human fleet began to move. Thousands of ships changed formation with perfect precision. Some vessels moved toward the outer edge of the galaxy. Others stayed behind, forming defensive positions near important star systems. Commander Lethra watched the movements carefully. "These ships, they're protecting us," she realized. Humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as defenders. Suddenly, alarms sounded on the Velran patrol ship. "Commander," the sensor officer shouted. "New contact detected." The main screen zoomed toward deep space. One of the shadow objects had entered the outer edge of the galaxy. For the first time, its full shape became visible. It was enormous. A dark structure surrounded by strange energy storms. Massive tendrils stretched across space like living shadows. It moved slowly toward the nearest star system. Everything around it began to lose power. Planets went dark. Stations lost communication. The creature was draining energy from entire star systems. Lethra whispered in horror. "That thing is alive." The human fleet reacted immediately. Admiral Ward's voice returned. "All fleets prepare for first contact." Hundreds of human warships accelerated toward the approaching shadow. Their weapons finally powered up. Bright blue energy gathered along the sides of the ships. For 20,000 years, humanity had prepared for this exact moment. Now the war they had feared was finally here. The alien crews across the galaxy watched in silence as the first human battle fleet moved forward. Toward the ancient enemy. Toward the darkness that had destroyed countless civilizations before. Admiral Ward spoke one final message before the battle began. Humanity did not return to watch the galaxy fall. The human fleet opened fire. And this time, the darkness will not win.